Hi everyone, Terry here sharing another process video for Peartree Cutfiles. I'm using the fishing net Cutfile from the recent release, and I've cut it from white cardstock, and I'm using it with a mix of older stash and a patterned paper from the new Simple Stories Vintage Coastal collection. So I'm just going to paint the kind of wood section of the fishing net with this penny metallic paint from Dina Wakeley. So it's just an acrylic metallic paint, so I'm just going to apply that and then set it to one side to dry. So because I'm using this patterned paper from Simple Stories as my background, I wanted to keep the Cutfile white so that it really pops off the page. So I've pulled out some perspectives from Bramble Fox and some fussy cut shells from this older Maggie Holmes Sunny Days collection that I cut out probably a few years ago now, and I just saved ready to use. So I'm just backing my photo on this scrap of pink patterned paper from the same collection. Now this is a photo of my dinner when we were away on holiday last week in Scotland, and it's a photo of some fresh crab that we had with salad and chips. It's not something that we eat very often at home as we don't live near the sea, so it was a bit of a treat. So I'm just pulling out a few bits that I think I might use as embellishment and layers, and just cutting them out and distressing the edges there. So now that Cutfile's dry, I've just pulled it back over my background paper, and I'm going to add this tulle underneath it to give kind of a net effect. It's very subtle, it's kind of a beigey colour, so it does blend into the background, but when you look at the layout in real life you can see that there's that kind of texture there. So the net's got a few seashells and starfish on, so I'm just going to back them with some patterned paper from the same collection. So I'm going to do my usual trick of drawing around the insides and outsides of each area that I want to back, and I'm just using some scraps of patterned paper from the Maggie Holmes Sunny Days collection, and I'm not going for colours that are true to the colour of the shell. I'm just going with what I feel is bright and pops off the page, but also coordinates well with the colours in that background piece. Because the background's got a lot going on, it doesn't really need too much adding to it, which is nice. So now I've added those back to areas, I'm going to put some foam pads on the back of this Cutfile so that I can attach it to my layout. So I'm not putting loads of bits on, just over where the starfish and the shells are, and a couple on the kind of frame. So I'm going to stick it directly over that tulle onto the background and give it a good press so that the foam pads stick to the background through that tulle as well. And I'm just adding a small amount of wet glue to the top so that it sticks flush to the page. And now I'm looking to layer my photo. I'm going to put it kind of centrally on the fishing net because I don't want to cover up any of those shells or starfish. So I'm just being mindful of where I'm putting my layers so that, again, it doesn't cover anything up. So I've just tucked those pieces that I cut out earlier in the top right hand corner. And then I'm going to add some more embellishment in and around the fishing net. So I've pulled out those seashells that I talked about earlier that I'd already fussy cut out. I think this was a patterned paper from the Maggie Holmes collection. So I'm just adding a bit of glue and some foam pads to help it pop. And I'm just going to add that in and around where the photo is. So you can see I'm just testing out a few different shells to work out which ones I want to use, what colours, and I have covered up that shell a little bit there. So I've pulled out these older perspectives from Bramble Fox, so there were some fish, some sea creatures like starfish, and I think there's that little turtle which I love. So I'm just looking at where I can add a few more bits, and I'm looking to tie in the different colours and shells from each side. So I've like duplicated that kind of turquoise urchin type shell, and I've just added that fish perspective as well. I'm just going through the stickers that are from this collection that I've got left. There's a sticker book that I had that's got a few quite a few stickers left, and also I've got the 6x12 sticker sheet and the chipboard sticker sheet, and there's some beautiful kind of pearlescent stickers in this collection, so I'm just using a few of the shell ones to add a bit of bling and a bit more dimension to the page. So I'm just looking through the chipboard sheet to see what I can possibly use, but I think everything's a little bit too bright and a bit too big and bold. So I'm going to add in some of that penny acrylic paint with some splatters just around those areas of embellishment. I've just covered up the fishing net because I didn't want to get any of that paint on that cut file. And now I'm looking at a title and where I'm going to put that. So I've pulled out a few different alphas and some thicker words, but in the end I go with this kind of rose gold metallic alphabet, and I'm going to call this layout Tea from the Sea. So I'm using a mix of alphabets, so I've got this metallic one from an old Dear Lizzie collection, and then this Amy Tangerine kind of light blue glittery alpha that also has like a white one with it, but I thought the blue really tied in with the colours in the layout. So I'm just going to add some journaling under my title about what we had for tea and where we got it from. It's because this has got a really busy patterned paper background, there's not a huge amount that needs adding to finish it off. Just adding in some of this blue glittery Nouveau drops. I'm just adding some of it in around where the embellishment clusters are, and I've also added a spot in the top of the cut file. So this is my completed layout for Peartree Cutfiles. Thanks for joining me, and check out the description below for all links to the products used.